is the Between Brothers podcast, where we bring you real talk, authentic takes, and laughs on sports, pop culture, and life. I'm your host, the Duke of Debonairness, Lando, also known as the Debonair One. I have my brother with me. Y'all know him as the Chancellor of Charisma. I know him as Zero. We all know him as the Captain of Charismaticness. Don't even know if charismaticness is a word, but it is now.
It ain't a word, but it is.
Zero in the building. What's going on, Zero?
Not much. Um, what's it called? Gonna be finally back in the workforce. It's been a tough outing, but gonna get back into the swing of things. um, yeah, watch my uh, watch my Jaguars whoop up on them Colts today. I'm still mad because um, what's it called? We all know how good Jonathan Taylor is.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to do it, and we weren't able to hold him under 70 yards. He's the first running back all year that we've held that we didn't hold under 70 yards. I think he had like a 72,
Ooh,
70.
barely got it. Barely got it. I
Yeah.
mean, he's leading the league in rushing, right?
Yeah. But it was like, I mean, we got the number one rush defense. We didn't, it's like, it's not like we've, yeah, just to have, yeah, it's like I wasn't thinking that he was going to be held to a low stand, yeah, to that low. But you know how the Colts have been playing lately. It's like they've been wanting. It seemed like they've been wanting Buns aplenty. Unfortunately, it's confirmed that he got a torn Achilles. So whatever contract he was hoping to get, that ain't happening.
I don't know. Kirk Cousins got a deal after a torn Achilles. Who knows?
Yeah, had to wait a year too, especially since how late in the season this shit is. Um, so oh, and the I think it was
Y'all
yesterday.
officially in first place.
Yeah,
Oh, your predictions is looking good. You picked the Jaguars to win the division. You
yeah,
know,
we play
predictions looking good.
and we play your Die Easy Jets next week.
Mm.
but but oh, so there was another thing. So I don't know if you ever seen his content, but I can't remember. I wish I could remember what his name was, but it's this guy who has a light skinned dude who has locks. He always says he always does like makes his like does food substitutes from like how all the ingredients that are in foods, and that he'll make it a different way, which would be a lot healthier than what you would buy from the store, like making your own yellow rice versus buying yellow rice from the store and all that. So there was one thing that he did that I wanted to try. It was soda. So he said he was gonna make his own 7 Up. So he squeezed half a lemon, half a lime, put some agave syrup, mixed that, and then poured sparkling water inside the cup. And you know how folks would be like, "Yo, this it tastes good." It's like, but you don't know what it tastes like it's because he's the one drinking it. Of course, he gonna say his shit tastes good. So I
Mm.
tried it, and it tastes good. I was yeah. So I had I had everybody try it. They liked it too, and then I tried it with orange. It's the orange one. It was like it was okay, but not too much of the a great flavor, like bursting with orange flavor or whatever. But the other stuff, but the lemon lime one was good. So I was like, from now on, if we want to get some soda, um, might as well just make it ourselves instead of. I know it's easier to go get Starry or something from the store, but it's like you got a healthier option. Just go for the healthier option.
Yeah.
But it does take, but the lemon lime one does taste good because I wanted to experiment with the orange one with the orange because I knew there was that I had just bought some oranges, but it was like it wasn't as good. I'm not saying it was completely nasty, but it just wasn't as good as the lemon lime one. So
Mm.
yes, so I it was like it was like when we talked about different lemonades and we were wondering why there were certain fruits that didn't go that, that we didn't see mixed with lemonade. Like
So this
you've
gonna be
never seen
back
a
to
grape
back
lemonade.
episodes where we talk about random foods that we could clearly we were two hungry individuals because I don't know why I thought that they would serve albatross wings at an Illuminati event, but they might actually. So we don't know. We don't know the truth.
But they might have grape lemonade
They
though.
might have great lemonade to watch it down.
He's
Great
like,
lemonade to watch it
he- he's like, he's like,
down.
we have some lemon pepper wet albatross wings, and we just wash it down with grape lemonade. It's like, how did you make grape
Washing
lemonade?
it down with great lemonade, man.
Grape lemonade and some he said, and some wood fire asparagus.
You can't make these things up, man. I mean, we literally just did, but oh well. Oh
Yeah,
well.
but other than that, it's been a bit. Yeah, it's been a busy week, like going back and forth and doing this. Um, searching for employment, like searching for employment, going back and forth, things of that nature.
Yeah.
I had treated this lady's house because she said she was having a bug problem at her home. Um,
Hmm.
and she hit up our oldest sister because it was one of her church members. She said she forgot to tell me, but she was like, so she hit me up. She said, am I supposed to wait a little bit for the stuff to kick in? I was like, yeah, you have to wait a few days for everything to start kicking in. And then she hit me up and said, "Oh, the lady whose home that you sprayed, she said she wants you to show up every 3 to 4 months." So it was like, so it was like, hey, it's
Yeah,
like,
that's what's up, man.
it's like, what? It's like, tell your friends about me when I. It's like, I got you. Shoot, yeah, what's it called? That'll be really cool to like get a probably get a steady clientele and maybe just build my own build my own pest control thing and not have to keep on working underneath somebody else's thumb.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
uh, w- few steps at is like a step at a time, a step at a time.
Um, so normally when I talk about my wife, the Duchess, on this podcast, it's usually a funny story, some kind of funny story. This time I want to shout her out for not it's not necessarily um that she did anything crazy or anything like that. It was just like interesting to get this text message from her, and I'm gonna. I don't. She don't know that I'm gonna share this personal. info on here, but she so for those who know me, I think since I was a teenager, I said I was going to be a billionaire. And that definitely I'm nowhere near anything like that. And I've even announced that y'all know how my net worth is increasing as I change my titles. So the lowest on the totem pole is the Duke of Debonairness. The highest on the totem pole is the demigod of Debonairness. So when I hit 9 zeros and I get on this podcast saying, "Welcome to the Between Brothers podcast. I'm your host, Lando, the demigod of Debonairness." You know what time it is. I mean, there may be some other things changing too. Big studio, big mics, big, I don't know. Maybe, or we might just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, right?
Mm.
So she messaged me just kind of randomly, and um, she goes, sometimes I wish I was different from you when you express your wants and desires, such as how we're living in finances. I wish I was more of a go getter, hustler. You dream so big and grand, whereas I am happy with trips and a little bit of money. I never want to hold you back like you'll take a risk and I'm like you'll take the risk and I'm scared. So reason why I felt like that was a nice message was because not necessarily uh, the Duchess doesn't hold me back from anything. As in all honesty, what has held me back and things that I've had, what's kept me from kind of like being in a position to take bigger risks is having a son at 18 years old. And um, because if it was just me and uh, the ex, um, there's a way that I probably could have maneuvered that, unfortunately, having someone I truly had to take care of in um, our son is, you make different decisions. Also, I didn't know anything about making money. Like, and what I mean by like making money, I shouldn't say that. I didn't know anything about building wealth because, in all honesty, I've been able to make a good living for my entire adult life, in some way, shape, or form, where I'm able to pay the bills and things of that nature. Not saying I never fell behind on bills. Not saying I have excellent credit. None of that stuff. I'm just saying, like, where been able to keep the lights on, been able to stay off of welfare, stay off of charities, for just so, not saying there's anything wrong with that, just because we grew up on it. Um, but for those who are actually in need to get it versus myself, who doesn't necessarily need it, for the most part. So I found that message nice because, um, not saying like, okay, she's taking blame or anything like that, but like that she wishes that she could do more to like assist in some of these endeavors. But in all honesty, I never ever thought of like any, this is my second marriage, like either of them being like motivation or, somebody to put me in position or anything like that. I've never thought of my spouse as somebody like that would do that for me. Because, as I was a teenager, I was literally 14. I'll never forget. I was 14 years old when I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a billionaire. And being 37 and saying, hey, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 35. and not anywhere close to that, it is disappointing. But then when you embrace like things are on God's timing, not your timing, and also there's a lot of things, obstacles that have gotten in the way of accumulating wealth and things of that nature. The biggest one being knowledge of such. Because even though like I've had people around me who are like who have money and things of that nature, um, they're like, hey, surround yourself with, if you surround yourself with five millionaires, you'll be the sixth. And in my life, I'm like, okay, do I know some millionaires yet? Am I really close to some millionaires? I would say one that I'm really close to. But then sometimes the things that they tell me, it's way above me. Where it's like, oh, like hey, if you do this, you'll accumulate wealth. And it's like, not saying like it's easy for you to say, but in my perspective, like it's like, okay, like I guess you kind of did things the right way. Like you waited, not saying like you waited to get married, waited to have kids, waited to, and did a lot of things prior to building a family that unfortunately, because of my negligence, I'm not saying like, because actually my son Link, it was truly an accident, like um, protection broke, and people was like, oh, you should have known like that was different. But I'm like, but I didn't though, because I never experienced that before. So, but the mistake was, attaching yourself to someone who wasn't someone to build with. And so I'm just glad that I have someone who I can build with now, and, and that's willing to now, and that's willing to acknowledge like that I want more and I'm gonna try to get more. So like don't get in my way when it's time for me to make that move. So because I'm not saying I don't make bad decisions, but I don't make rash decisions. Like I actually do calculate the risk. And sometimes it's like, hey, if the risk is 50-50, I'm gonna take the risk. The risk might be 40-60 in the failure, where failure has an advantage, and I may still take the risk because the risk of failure isn't so great that I'm gonna lose everything. So I'm just I just enjoyed having that text message and kind of gave her some reassuring words like, yeah, like that ain't on you. Like it's not your job to be a hustler. Like, what I'm saying? Like these dreams I had 20 years before I met you, so it ain't it ain't got nothing to do with you. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. I did actually have something happen at the gym, but I'm actually gonna say that because I'm gonna start posting a lot more content on social media and our media outlets. So um and I'm also I just created a public page for Instagram. I did not um and not disclose that yet, but I did create a public page. It was a public page before where I just put artwork, but now I'm gonna put all things Lando on there. So it's Duke underscore Lando underscore Debonair on Instagram. But anyways, let's get to some of these topics. It's gonna be a quick podcast because I possibly got to pick Link up from work because it's supposed to snow down here. Um, and he only works like it's like a 15-minute walk, but he walks to work. So anyways, Doc came out, 50 Cent created a doc about Diddy. They sent a bunch of cease and desist letters and things of that nature. Um 50 Cent is a menace. 50 Cent's an absolute menace. And here's the thing. here's the thing, because Marlon Wayans was saying something like, like he like kind of like, hey, I was friends with Diddy. Like the documentary is skewing some things. I have never seen a documentary not do. Like What the Health was clearly a vegetarian, vegan leaning.
Yo, fear mongering.
Yeah. Um uh uh Supersize Me.
Oh my goodness.
Um um there oh man, I think there was one called Park Avenue that I saw where it was like really leaning heavily against wealthy people.
Mm.
And like pretty much saying like billionaires are greedy and that's why they're billionaires, which I'm sure there's some truth to that. But like they're all gonna push you in a direction to where they want to, because like in the doc, which I didn't watch all of it, or actually I didn't watch any of it. The Duchess was watching it, and I was doing some other stuff, but kind of like listening to some of the things that they were saying. Some of the Tupac, him get virtually putting a hit out on Tupac, seemed very reachy. Um, the Biggie Small stuff always seemed reachy to me. And maybe that's just my personal bias. Not I've never been a fan of Diddy, so just like not believing that Diddy could have done all this and still be out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, um, dude named Rod Wave, which actually the Duchess' best friend knows the guy. Don't believe his story for 1 minute. Like you drank something, passed out, woke up with your rectum railed, and nothing happened. So you just got railed rectums. And you're like, that's not strange.
He just got up and drove home.
It was like, as long as he pays me, I'm not going to report this.
He said there was an envelope on the table next to
No, but apparently he
him.
never got paid, so that's why he's putting it out there. And I'm like,
He didn't get paid enough. He
because
said Diddy with the wink emoji on.
bruh, the Duchess is making every excuse for bro. And I'm like, yeah, she's like, well, maybe he was scared and maybe he thought his career was going to go down the toilet. I'm like, it's in the toilet anyways. That's what happened. Like, this is a life lesson. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This is a life lesson though. All right, now I can't speak for my other siblings, but I'm gonna just speak for myself. I didn't have the habit of lying to our mother. The reason why is because I would see my older siblings. I'm the youngest of all of us. For y'all who don't know, we got two older sisters, which those who went to high school with us wouldn't know them because they didn't go to our high school. Well, we got two other older sisters, but I would watch them lie and things of that nature, get caught, get in trouble, get whooped. So my thing was after a while, and not saying I never lied to our mother, I just didn't have the habit of it because if I'm gonna get beat, I'm gonna get beat anyways. So whether I tell the truth or I tell a lie, I'm gonna get like if our mother decided she was like this was a whoopable offense, it didn't matter if I lied or not. So I'm just like, okay, maybe if I tell the truth, I won't get whooped. And actually, that happened a lot. Where it's like, okay, you know what? You told the truth, you confessed, this and the other. The truth shall set you free. Sometimes I still got whooped. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes the truth set me free. Because, just because you told the truth doesn't mean you avoid punishment, right? So this is a life lessons. Like, all right, you're scared that your career is going to be ruined. That's what she said. I don't know what the doc said. But that's what the Duchess said. If you're scared that your career is going to be ruined anyways because of the homo rumors, you got your rectum railed on roofies. No one's gonna, that man's going to prison and you get to get a big paycheck. What the risk of, hey, I might get my career ruined versus, hey, like that old, that sounds to me like this was, if you were getting your rectum ravaged, this was consensual until he was like, I'm on top, like, F you pay me.
Oh
That's all I'm saying. I don't believe this guy. I don't. I really don't. I think that the dude is sweet and he want Diddy to be the reason why he's sweet. Which Diddy might be the reason why he's sweet. I don't know. I've never heard of Diddy doing no homos, like actual homo acts with other men. Now the whole the whole nut on nipples thing is a whole different story. But as far as him doing sexual things to men, never. There's nobody who's confirming that except somebody who got roofied into ravaged rectum. Alliteration is crazy. Zero. Talk to me, man. Have you seen the doc, or what have you seen from the doc? What do you believe? What do you not believe? What are your thoughts on all
right.
this?
I haven't watched the doc. Now, what I've heard was the now the hit on Tupac. That's always been rumored. That's always been rumored. Well, I've heard different things on that. It was like, it was Diddy ordered the hit on Tupac, or Suge ordered the hit on Tupac because they were gonna end the East Coast West Coast beef. Well, it was like, but the most unbelievable thing was Biggie's funeral. Say he planned the biggest. She said he gave did Biggie the biggest funeral and still charged it to Biggie. It was like, you can't be serious, right? Like, you think it's like, who's footing the bill? It can't be the guy that's dead. So you got to be given. If this is really
If they
true, you got
charge
to
it
be.
against his estate, then yeah. But I heard that it wasn't true on the Breakfast Club. The guy who like manages his estate, which was a close
Uh
friend of his, who managed him while he was alive.
huh.
Um, him being Big, but and the mom was very on top of like making sure that the grandkids had money. But
Mm,
the issue was the issue I had with what he was saying kind of after the fact is that 50's people or Netflix's people did reach out to him to confirm or deny a lot of the things that were in the documentary. And he said he didn't respond to them because he didn't want to be bothered by it. So if you didn't want to be bothered with it, why are you saying something now? And you had the opportunity to set the story straight from jump. And you could have said, hey, I told Netflix that these things weren't true from the beginning. I don't know why it's in the documentary.
yeah.
You have more ammunition for validity now versus kind of doing things after the fact. Now that there's this huge backlash coming back to everybody. Because just like
Yeah.
because it comes back to him like, yo, that's supposed to be a man. How you let Diddy do that to, what I'm saying, to that family? So
Yeah. It's like it's making. Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch it. I think I may watch it to fall asleep to tonight. But it's like, my thing is this: when it comes down to this documentary, 50, why?
because he's a menace, man.
It's like, it seemed like the last interaction y'all had is that Diddy wanted to take you shopping and you denied it and you hadn't spoken to him since. So was the offer to take you shopping enough to say, I'm gonna take this dude down no matter what? And then the trial became the reason why he was like, yo, he's like, he's on trial. I remember when he offered to take me shopping. Fuck that nigga. It's to me, it just doesn't. It's just like that's the only question that I have for this thing is why. Like it makes it's like what do you get out of this? But like you said, 50's a
When
menace,
you
so
a
does it
menace,
necessarily matter what does he get out of this?
when you want what they say in the Dark Knight, when you just want to watch the world burn.
You know, and it was like, and they said, oh, there was also something that said that 50 did his interview for the documentary on ABC because ABC is one of the few networks that airs in the prison system. So Diddy gotta watch him get interviewed. Yo, yeah, I don't really have much to say on it because I haven't watched this. Because I haven't watched it, so I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, so it's like we've discussed Diddy and like a lot of stuff like that they were saying in the documentary. It came of no shock to me. Why? Because like I said on the podcast weeks ago or months ago when the whole Diddy trial thing started, if you ever paid attention to making the band, you knew that this dude was just a power hungry person, that a power abuser. You knew that about him, making people walk to Brooklyn for cheesecake. That has nothing to do with the record deal. So like you could tell that this was, like Suge Knight said, the guy who's all in the videos. You know what I'm saying? Saying, take that. Take what?
He forgot to add in I'ma. That's a new. I'ma take that.
And so it's just like you see these things, you hear these things, and like I said, nothing came to a surprise. And then like the cease and desist stuff, like I don't even know like why Diddy's even fighting this. Like so these are things that were rumored for decades at this point. And not only that, these are things that like there's tape on this confirming some of these rumors, no matter how you may have you may have tried to like avoid them and things of that nature. So I don't get like the whole situation, but the funniest thing about all of this isn't even Diddy. It's the fact that Dame Dash is so upset about this. Because he said 50 was capping about the doc, and the only person who's been proven capping about anything since he did that Breakfast Club interview is Dame Dash. And I got a friend of mine who was like, 50 Cent is a bozo when I posted something from 50 Cent. And I'm like, and Dame Dash. I'm like, Dame Dash is the biggest bozo. When then I'm seeing a lot of people saying, like, oh, 50 Cent is tearing down a black man, this and the other. Evil people should be torn down. That's it. If Diddy is guilty of any of these things or all of these things, I don't care that he's black. And this is the problem with when we say we want to police ourselves. This is the problem. Hey, we can police our own. That's not policing. Hiding the truth is not policing. Yeah, that uncle that molested 8 kids in the damn family, and y'all just kept it on the hush. That's not policing. That uncle should have got beat up by every other person every other male in the family daily.
On site. It's
Because
always on site.
always on site, because there's that Uncle Diddles, that you was like, or you was blaming the little girls for seducing him or things of that nature. I was putting blame on children. And I'm saying this about black families because I've seen this happen in black families. And I'm sure it happens in all families because I've seen it like on TV and other documentaries. But specifically, I've seen certain people try to beat the gay out of their kid. But you won't beat the predator out of Uncle Diddles, who's a grown man. What, is he too far gone? Okay, if he is too far gone, let him go. Let him go meet Jesus.
Fucking Uncle Diddles.
Uncle Diddles, aunties too. And yeah, no, y'all, we got to deal with the sick, evil individuals. We got to deal with them accordingly. That's it. Unfortunately, Diddy ain't doing life because the prosecution was soft and stupid and rushed everything. Possibly, I don't know. But like, yeah, it's just like I don't get it, man. I don't get like why 50 Cent hates Diddy so much. I saw him do this interview. I was like, this dude is the troll of the year. They're like, who's your favorite hero? He then answers, there's a lot of people I like admire, but I wouldn't say anybody's my hero, which wasn't the question. They just like they could have been talking about a comic book character, anything. Or they didn't say who's your hero. They said, who's your favorite hero? Then they say, who's your favorite villain? And he says Diddy. So you
Yeah, he had no answer for the hero or the villain. It was immediate.
you knew what the question. That's so that you knew what the question was. You just wanted to talk about Diddy.
He was so quick to answer that, huh?
Oh man. Oh
Oh
my God.
man.
This dude is an absolute menace, man. Shout out to 50 Cent, man. Shout out to 50 Cent. He out here making moves, man. I like 50. I like 50 Cent. It's funny because I was thinking about 50 Cent's albums and like the wrap up, like the year-end wrap up. Well, I have Spotify, but I don't use it for music. So I did the the wrap up for Apple Music. And because of one person's suggestion, this particular music artist was all over my thing. So shout to Slim, who's been on the podcast. He said that T.I. put out better music or better albums than Fabulous. So at that point, I had never listened to a full T.I. album. I never been a fan of T.I. to even desire to listen to one of his albums. So I listened to all of his albums. Actually I never even finished it. I think it was like 2 more left. But because I did that, he is the top artist all over my thing. And I have none of his music. Actually, you know what? No, I'm lying. What's the Swagger Like Us is the only T.I. song I have out of the 600 songs on my playlist. Swagger Like Us. But because I went down, now I gotta listen to a bunch of people's albums. He can't be on here next year. He can't. But yeah, so I don't know if you heard about this. Stephen A. Smith, he took some shots at Max Kellerman because Max Kellerman went on the Bill Simmons podcast and said that Stephen A. Smith was going up against Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I saw the clips for the Max Kellerman interview. I didn't see
So Stephen
Stephen
A.
A's.
Smith pretty much he was just like he didn't really address Max too heavily.
Mhm.
He was just like, oh, like me, I just couldn't work with Max because it just wasn't good for a debate show.
Uh,
And Stephen A. Smith has always said it. His thing was more at the release from what I saw was like a 15-minute clip of his podcast. Or no, I think it was a show. I think it was Straight Shooter. But but he was like addressing Marcellus Wiley, saying like, yo, like you never like when it came, like I understand like Max Kellerman's your boy, he's probably your best friend, but you never hit me up and asked why did I ask for him to get off of First Take. And he was like, and then when he got off of First Take, he ended up getting a morning show and he ended up getting two shows. It wasn't like I put him in a position to where he got fired. He was like, he had two shows and he was doing his boxing show, Max on Boxing. So he was like, he had three shows. Like, y'all acting like I got the man fired. He was like, I got fired. Max Kellerman didn't get fired. He got moved to other positions and ultimately they didn't renew his contract at the end of it all. But I'm like, which Max Kellerman, I don't know what happened to bro. His boxing takes ever since he's been on Ring Magazine, I'm like, I don't know what that's about. Devin Haney, great win. And he's like, yeah, Devin Haney has a great resume. He just doesn't have, I don't think he's a great fighter. Why don't you, if LaShawn McCoy, who's probably the worst boxing, which is funny because the one guy I follow, Dante's Boxing Nation on YouTube, he he didn't know who LaShawn McCoy was, but then I was like, oh yeah, he said that he don't watch no other sports but boxing. Cause I'm like, how do you not know who LaShawn McCoy is? But I'm like, oh, he says the only sport he watches is boxing. Of course he wouldn't know who an NFL player is. But LaShawn McCoy knows nothing about boxing.
mm-hmm.
And LaShawn McCoy was the voice of reason, saying, he was like, oh, well, he dropped dude in the second round, why didn't he finish him? And he's like, yo, he dropped him. He was up big. We see it in every sport. You up big, you ain't gonna keep throwing the football. He didn't say it like that, but like, yeah, if you up 41-0, you're running the clock out. And that's pretty much what Haney did, even though Haney should have finished him. Boxing is different, but he was just like, if you look at his resume, you look at everybody he's beat, it don't matter how he beat them, he's beating them. There's like nobody knocks Tom Brady for winning most of his Super Bowls, without scoring the final score for his team. Actually, I think all his Super Bowls that he won, I think all but the Tampa Bay one was won with the field goal at the end. Which one? Which ones? I know the first three. The first three were the second three. Remind me.
So we got the overtime win.
That okay, yeah. He scored the touchdown. He made the pass.
And I don't remember how much they were up by when they beat Seattle. But Seattle needed a touchdown to win. I don't remember who scored. I don't know if it was.
That wasn't a field. That wasn't a field goal game, was it?
I don't think so. It might have been. It might have been. But yeah, but the
but yeah,
Falcons Super Bowl, he that
yeah,
went to overtime.
and he made the game winning touch. He made a pass to a running back, right?
It was
Or it was a run play.
it was a run play.
Okay, so he didn't make the game winning. He didn't make. He didn't make this. He didn't score. He wasn't He wasn't the person responsible for the score
Yeah.
for the actual points on the board on that. Okay, so yeah, so like so like I said, so if we know of at least four of them that he wasn't the person. I think they were. I think. I think they. No, I think because I always say it was 28-14. I think Seattle was up 24-14, and I think they won 28-24.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, but yeah, so it's like majority of his, and then of course, he didn't do a whole lot in the Tampa Super Bowl win. It was more Patrick Mahomes couldn't do nothing. Um, which rightfully so, he was like in his 40s, so like he shouldn't have had to do a whole lot, and the defense is dominant, so he shouldn't have had to do a whole lot. But like nobody complains about that. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody complains about Michael Jordan not hitting a buzzer beater in every finals. So it's just like you play to win the game. So, like, I don't know what's going on with his boxing takes lately. He also, right after Floyd Mayweather beat Pacquiao, he said Pacquiao was a greater fighter than Floyd Mayweather because he moved up more weight classes.
Hmm.
Idiotic. 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 But anyways, so but he's called himself the Muhammad Ali of debaters when he said he'd pick Iguodala. He called himself Muhammad Ali and Terrence Crawford. Muhammad Ali and Terrence Crawford have never put up a performance that would make you think of Iguodala.
Yeah. Yeah. Yo, how you call himself Muhammad Ali had a Mitch Green take. I'm Mitch Blood Green. He's like, yo, for real, that was a middling fighter take right there.
And not saying that guys don't have bad takes. Stephen A. Smith's had bad takes. Um, Max Hellman's had bad takes. I've had bad takes. You've had bad takes. Like everybody's had bad takes. But you called yourself the Muhammad Ali of debate with no evidence to back that up. But the Tom Brady's gonna fall off a cliff thing. That's another one that was like a wildly outrageous take that people were like, "You tripping?" And then Tom Brady played like another 3 years of dominant football. Like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He's like, "Oh, yeah, he could fall off a cliff this year." And it's like, "Oh yeah, no, that wasn't true. Actually, he played longer than anybody has at a high level. Similar to LeBron James." Which, good Lord, LeBron. Anyways, now I'm going to say this. I'm as far as this show is concerned, I do my best to try to keep my bias out of a lot of stuff. Like Michael Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. Is he my favorite basketball player of all time? I don't know. But as far as like Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer I've ever seen. He's my favorite boxer of all time. Is he the greatest? I don't think so. I've mentioned on this podcast my love for Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey Jr. I've mentioned on this podcast my love for Martin Brodeur. Is he the greatest goalie of all time? I don't know. I try to keep my bias out of this stuff. Stephen A. Smith is my favorite personality, sports personality on TV. The only reason why he's number one is because Jalen Rose hasn't been on TV as much anymore since he left ESPN. And then Colin Cowherd just became weird. The Max Kellerman, if he was that good, the show would have suffered without him. And I don't think the show has. I think the show's better without him. Not saying that Max Kellerman wasn't fantastic, even though he had some completely miserable takes. Iguodala. I'm trying to find out what buzzer beater Iguodala hit that made him say that. And I love the NBA.
Everybody looked like they were about to walk off the set of that shit. He said the aliens are pointing the doomsday weapon. I'm taking Iguodala. He said it was so much conviction, and he couldn't make anybody believe him.
I was just trying to find out when did he watch Iguodala take that shot that set the world on fire.
You
In
might
a
have been thinking
playoff
about the
game.
wrong AI.
In a playoff game. In any game of any meaning that he's like, you know what, I'm gonna. This wasn't like a playoff game, but the best shot I've ever, like one of the best shots I've ever seen to win a game. And they were talking specifically about Steph Curry and those guys. But Steph Curry hasn't really been fantastic in the clutch. But when they got the rebound, I think they won 121 to 118 against OKC.
Yeah, when
And
he
he just
ran down,
shoots
they
it
said,
like,
"Should he take a timeout?"
and he just shoots it from one or two sets from half court. The infamous Mike Breen bang to end the game.
He's like, "Should I
Why?
take a timeout?" No.
How do you watch that and say Iguodala?
And say the guy who comes off the bench is the guy.
How do you watch that and say I'm going with Iguodala? All right, so I just want to be Max. I'm just saying. You said right after Floyd Mayweather put the beats on Manny Pacquiao, in which you got in the ring and told Manny Pacquiao to his face after Manny tried to lie and say he felt like he won the fight. You were like, nobody in here feels that way. And you told this man to his face like that.
Nobody in here.
Nobody co-signs that. Not a single person in here. Let me
Not
understand.
your trainers.
Your Freddie Roast don't think that. Your wife don't think that. Your kids don't think that. There's nobody in this building that believes that you won this fight. Nobody in this building. I just need you to know that. And then Manny started making excuses about his shoulder. Anyways, we watched you do that. So you watched some of the greatest fighters ever. You watched that. You watched Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, two of probably the 20 greatest fighters in history. Go at it. And saw that Floyd Mayweather was the better fighter. And then you said, no, Manny's greater because he moved up more weight classes.
They went head to head, and you still think this.
And then you go around after that, I just need you to understand this is post Mayweather Pacquiao. You watch Steph Curry shoot shots, turn around his back to the basket, do some Assassin's Creed type acrobatics. Then the ball goes in. And you're like, you know what? If I got one shot,
And the doomsday weapon.
the doomsday weapon, Independence Day, hovering over the White House. And the alien said, you need one shot. Or we blowing up the White House and everybody in DC. And you say, and they're like, Max, you got to pick. And you look around and you just see that number 9.
And you said him.
Iguodala would be like,
Even Iguodala, when you went on the panel,
no,
you said the Muhammad Ali.
anybody else but me. Take Shaq over me.
Oh my goodness. You could have picked anybody. You could have picked anybody else. You could have said Jordan, Kobe. You could have said Steph, KD. You could have said anybody else.
But
But
he
you
picks the
chose.
one guy who never made a pressure shot.
Right.
Muhammad Ali had a brain disease and never said something that stupid. And never said something that stupid.
Oh shit.
You are disqualified when you say I'm picking Iguodala from all basketball talk.
Oh
And then
Jesus.
Marcel Zali is like, oh yeah, he makes you think. You got to use like you can't just say stuff. That's literally what he did. He just said stuff.
He just said some shit.
Marcellus, which people be calling him cooning all the time, a coon all the time. Which I don't know. I don't watch his stuff to know whether he's a coon or not, or that he be cooning. Um, Stephen A. Smith, some of his stuff, I saw him on like, I don't know, I think it was The View or something like that. And they confronted him about something he said with, I think, the unlawful orders. And then they were like, yeah, they were like, yeah, this is like what the Constitution says. And so she goes, do you want to change your position now that you have all the information? And then he goes, no, I'm not. And so she was like, oh, so you're just going to be willfully ignorant. And I'm like, bro, like, especially Stephen A. Smith, you're wrong often. We've seen you be wrong often, and we've seen you retract your stuff. Why are you fighting it on this thing? That's not you're supposed to know about sports and you're wrong. You're not supposed to know about politics. So why won't you accept being wrong in politics? But you'll accept it in sports, the one thing that you're supposed to know so much about. I don't understand these dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just this dude really called himself the Muhammad Ali of debate. Terrence Crawford. Why did you compare yourself to those guys?
This is
What
what
is
Terrence Howard.
this? I'm just trying to find out. All right, what performance of Muhammad Ali or Terrence Crawford did you think was as bad as that take? That you think that y'all on the same level, on the same level of
Nah, when he called himself the Muhammad Ali, I think he was thinking about when Muhammad Ali lost to Larry Holmes, because that's the only way that he was going to compare himself.
I wouldn't mean to watch that fight. I never actually watched it. I've just seen the highlights.
Yeah,
I
it's
would
bad.
need to. I would need to watch that fight and see if it's really that bad. I've heard it was bad. I've heard it was like a really bad fight. Like it was Muhammad Ali got taken to the woodshed.
He.
I still can't believe that it was as bad as that take.
Yeah, give me Iguodala. Yo, he felt
My.
he's and wasn't this right after he won Finals MVP?
I think so.
That's probably why he said that shit.
Which he didn't win Finals MVP because of any shots that he made.
Is because he held LeBron to
Because he held LeBron
33.
to 33, 15, and 11 without the free throw.
His shooting percentage was 1%, was 1% point lower, and it was like
They're like,
he's
oh
the
man,
guy.
he kept them below 50%. That must mean something. That must mean something. Give me Iguodala to shoot shots. Yeah, he's a 68% free throw shooter. Who cares?
Oh man,
He's
that's
a
fucking
31.
hilarious.
He's a 30% 3-point shooter. Who cares? I need him. I need him over the guy who's a 97% free throw shooter and a 45% 3-point shooter. I need that guy. Like, bro,
Oh, jeez.
anybody would have been a better option. Max would have been a better option to take that shot. And I don't even think he knows how to play basketball. Now, let me stop. Let me stop. I should not insult Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala was really that dude, especially when he was in Philly. He was really sick with it. I felt like I had something else to talk about, but I don't know. Nope, that's all I had.
All right.
You good?
Yeah.
We good then?
What I have is a parting shot.
Yeah.
Ready?
Don't say Iguodala.
No.
You said ready like you was about to.
All right. So my parting shot. I hate the college football playoff committee.
What they do now?
So we know Indiana last night beat
Indiana.
Ohio State 13-10. Ohio State dropped one spot from number one to number two. Georgia blew out Alabama. Georgia doesn't move up. They stay at three. I believe, yeah, I think they stay at three. Alabama got
Don't
blown out.
leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me
Alabama got
alone.
blown out,
Leave me alone. Were they at
and they
home?
didn't move. They
Was
stayed
Alabama
at number nine.
was Alabama at home?
No, it was the SEC championship game. This was championship week. They didn't move.
Why? My question. I have a question
All right.
because I don't. This I know it's supposed to be part of the shot, so we really shouldn't have any discussion about this. But
It is what it is.
Texas A&M had
Uh
one
huh.
loss.
Uh huh.
Why didn't they play in the SEC championship game?
Because of when they lost.
No, but what I'm saying is like, was it a division thing? Because like,
It might have been a division thing.
what's because if they were behind Georgia, then if they're in the same division as Georgia, then that makes sense.
I
But
don't think they would be in the same division as Georgia because Georgia's in the East and Texas A&M would be in the West
so then why did Alabama get in over them with two losses?
because of when they lost.
But
See,
that
that's the
shouldn't matter if you have more losses.
not, but no, not because I think this
Like
was
like
Alabama.
when they lost makes sense if it's the same record.
Uh-huh.
But when you have two losses compared to the team that had one loss,
Hmm.
why would you get why how did you rank below them? Like you see what I'm saying? Because like how the whole thing the BCS used to weigh it like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The committee's not supposed to weigh it like that. The committee's supposed to be like the record. The record is the record. You don't like the committee or the BCS was like strength of schedule and all these other calculations that put you. The committee's not supposed to do that. This is strictly supposed to be the SEC championship or the championship games for
Hmm.
the conference championship games. I think even during the BCS was supposed to solely be on record.
Yep. And so
That's how Alabama gets to the national championship, even though they didn't play in the SEC championship.
yeah.
Because when you lost, that makes sense in the beast. This era, committee era, not supposed to have that. And they
Yep.
got to be in the same. I gotta look this up. They bet. If they, I swear, I'm gonna flip this iPad.
Yo, so Bama lost 28-7 in the SEC championship,
Oh no.
and they didn't drop in the playoff rankings. Ohio State dropped one spot. The biggest snub is Notre Dame. Notre Dame and Miami went head to head. I think Notre Dame won. They have the same common opponents. Notre Dame's two losses were to ranked opponents, while Miami's two losses were to unranked opponents. Miami's in the playoff. Notre Dame got snubbed. They got jumped by James Madison University in Tulane.
You lying. Since when does that happen? Since when does like a blue chip school like Notre Dame get skipped? All right, this committee's on drugs.
So when the folks were looking at where folks were on Bleacher Report were looking at the rankings or looking at who got picked, as soon as they saw Alabama's name go up there, they said, "Looks like championship game losses don't matter." Because how do you not only do you lose, you get blown out and you didn't even move. Alabama shouldn't be in and Notre Dame should. But then Miami being in when they didn't play in the ACC championship is fucking ridiculous. It's like, what are we doing here? Now we're gonna have an Alabama Oklahoma rematch.
Did they get rid of the divisions? Because I'm looking them up and it's only showing.
It wouldn't make any sense if they got rid of the divisions because then yeah, because I don't know if A&M lost to Alabama.
They lost to
Who was the one team they lost to?
Texas, I think.
And that probably makes sense why A&M, yeah, they probably dropped too low in the yeah, but that still wouldn't make any sense
Yeah, they lost to Texas.
because Alabama lost to, did they lose to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma?
They lost two games.
Not
They,
because I'm thinking,
they
isn't
lost two
Oklahoma in
games.
the SEC?
Yeah, but they only had one SEC loss. I'm looking at them. So there was a four-way tie for conference record. It was
So how the fuck did Alabama make it to the championship games?
Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Alabama, and all those teams had a better record than Alabama. But
Wait,
I'm
so
not.
was the Georgia loss Alabama's third loss?
Yeah, that's Alabama's third loss for the season.
And they didn't even drop it. That's my partner shot, yo. Fuck them niggas.
Oh no, hold
Because
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I think they're counting. No, Alabama was undefeated in the conference. If they're counting, let me look at this. Let me look at their schedule. Let me see who they lost to.
I know Alabama lost to Oklahoma. I know that happened.
They did. Oh, this is weird. They didn't. They have their record updated, but they don't have their conference record updated.
So this conference record doesn't don't matter anymore?
Yeah, they lost to Florida State and Oklahoma. So losing to an unranked team, because even like the issue I'm having is I'm looking at the SEC website and it doesn't have the divisions. So I'm like, did they get rid of the divisions?
Which would be weird. You know what? Still, fuck them niggas. Because
They did. They did.
so how the hell you have a
2023.
championship game with
So how does Alabama make a championship game?
hold on. Let me do this again. Let me do this again. this I almost slap the phone off the thing. So Notre Dame gets snubbed over Bama not moving down. Yeah, Bama not moving in the rankings at all. They got they put two group of five teams in Tulane and James James fucking Madison.
I don't know who they're gonna play. They're both gonna get beat by 50.
And no, you want to know how mad Notre Dame is? They don't even want to go to a bowl game this year. They literally denied going to. They literally declined going to a
Yeah,
bowl game.
what does the bowl game do?
Oh, but they do got a guarantee if they make it in next year. If they make it, if they're in the top 12, if they're ranked in the top 12, which they were ranked in the top 12, if they are next year, they guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff. I don't know where that clause came from, but they'll
That's
be
that's probably why they bumped it out of the top 12. They're like, yeah, nah, we ain't about to
because
give you no spot.
at the end of the year, so Notre Dame was ranked number 11 when it comes to the top 25 rank.
Yeah.
They were number 11. Uh, Tulane was number 15, and James Madison was ranked number 19, and they won their conferences and jumped over Notre Dame.
Maybe this is trying to force Notre Dame football to join the conference.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Because like, all right, we're gonna put like you guys have to. Because in all honesty, because I know Notre Dame got out of the isn't in conferences for football, and I don't remember the reason why. I think it's because of some kind of TV deal or something like that.
Yeah,
But
they're
like,
what's it called? No matter how bad they are, they're always playing on NBC.
so with that being said, I can understand the committee and the NCAA punishing them for not because it's like, okay, if you're not going to be in a conference, that's fine. But because you kind of pick your schedule, because I mean, do they play tough teams? Yeah, but you get to pick the tough teams that you go up against. We're not gonna if you're not overwhelmingly good, there's no reason to put you in this. So that actually makes sense, especially how awful Notre Dame is when it comes to these SEC or these championship games and bowl games. Like,
But
okay,
it's
do
like
we
they were,
really need you on TV? Not really. So like,
but then how do you justify Miami? They both had the same record. I think Notre Dame beat Miami this year head to head. They have the same common opponents, and what's it called? When it comes to their losses, both the losses that Notre Dame had were to ranked teams versus Miami, whose two losses were to unranked teams. So how the fuck do you justify Miami jumping over Notre Dame to get into the playoff? Well, that's my parting shot. Fuck the committee. That's my part. Fuck the committee. What you got?
um, my partner shot is I don't know. This whole college football thing threw me off. I've never been so invested in college football in my whole life.
He's like, what happened? Not
But
looking at rankings.
yeah, I'm puzzled, absolutely puzzled by this. This is the worst. This reminds me of the time where the Jaguars got the first overall pick because the Jets beat a team in the NFC in every tiebreaker. The Jets had the advantage. I don't know how we ended up being the second pick for winning it. Now, don't get me wrong, they ended up winning a couple more games after that. But this is one of those things that just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, the Jets had the toughest schedule in the season, uh, worst conference record, worst because they didn't at that point they didn't win a game in the AFC. Worst conference record, worst division record, didn't play head to head at that point. How did we end up behind the Jaguars? Like there was like I looked up every schedule metric to tiebreaker metric, and the Jets had the advantage in all of them. And nobody could explain to me how the Jaguars were in the lead for the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. But anyways, um, that being said, I remember my parting shot. LeBron hanging up. Not saying like hanging up like you have to retire, but hanging up is in like just announce the tour like Chris Paul tried to do.
Oh shit. That shit.
Like Chris Paul tried to like get more minutes by saying he was gonna retire, and they were like, "Oh, well, since you're gonna retire anyways, you might as well just stay home." Um, do that. Like, and the reason why is because y'all aren't competing for a championship, really. I mean, they're a good team this year. The Lakers are a good team this year. So, but like when you're chasing a fake record, most consecutive 10-point games, and why I say it's fake because they the record they used to say was Jordan's. That was like 1,045. And then for some reason, when Jordan's streak got broken, and then LeBron had a streak, they were like, "Oh, LeBron has a streak now because it's regular season games." Even though the record was always before then when Jordan was doing it, games in general,
Yeah.
including the playoffs. So it's a fake record, and Austin Reeves was hot from the field, and you decided to take more shots than Austin Reeves when you were already ice cold. And then I am sick and tired of the narrative that LeBron always makes the right play, and that's why he passes the ball. I'm not saying passing the ball is not the right play at times, but now Rui Hachimura made the shot. All's well that ends well. But I go back to times where he's passed up shots to get it to an open man and they miss a shot. And of course, they get all the blame because like LeBron fades you the ball. The best play, if you're the best scorer and you have a lane, is probably to finish the shot.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it is. If there's a guy, i.e., George Hill, who hasn't touched the ball and shot the ball all game,
Mm-hmm.
the best play isn't getting him the ball under pressure with Kevin Durant bearing down his back
Yeah.
to make a reverse layup. The best play is shoot a mid-range jump shot over a guy who's 6 inches shorter than you. Passing the ball is not always the best play. I need that narrative to stop. LeBron James's stats are incredible. He's not the GOAT. I need that narrative to stop. He's not the greatest scorer of all time. You have watched Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony and George Gervin and Hakeem Olajuwon and and
Thanks to McGrady.
and Paul Pierce and T-Mac score the basketball, and you've watched LeBron. You're not telling me you're seeing the same thing. Stop it. He's not the greatest scorer of all time. I don't care how many points he has. That being said, It's time to let it go. Career lows. Now, granted, he's the third option. Bro is shooting 40-something% from the free throw line or from the field, like low 40s, like 42, 43%. He's shooting 25% from three. He's shooting 55% from the free throw line. It's time to let it go. The league doesn't need you anymore. We've forgotten about you. We've moved on this SGA and Luka. Austin Reeves is playing better than you right now. That should never happen. Not saying Austin Reeves isn't a good player. He ain't that. I don't care how many 40-point games he has this year. He ain't that. Let it go, LeBron. Let it go. We've watched you and your hairline for long enough. Let it fade. Let it fade. Drift. We'll miss you. We'll miss the prime LeBron. I promise you.
When he had that headband looking damn near like a yarmulke at one point.
That's my parting shot. Let it go. Drift off into the abyss. Let us remember you as a great player, not as this. Chasing stats, chasing numbers, saying you don't care about stats when you clearly do, because even when you're against the Suns, when you were struggling with your shot and you were trying to get those 10 points, you kept jacking until you hit those 10 points. And the second you got the 10 points, you got off the court. You're chasing stats. Now that the streak is over, you don't have to chase stats no more. Also, Nick Wright, shut up. You just called this dude Magic Johnson because he had 11 assists game. If you watch, he said prime Magic Johnson. Like you watched prime Magic Johnson and thought of LeBron. LeBron's a great passer. I ain't never seen him do what Magic does as a passer. Stop it. We got to stop the hyperbole in sports. And the hyperbole in sports. That's it for us. Thank y'all so much. That's my parting shot. So yeah, this has been the Between Brothers podcast. For the laughs come free, and the talk is always real. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you. We'll see you next week.
I'm taking Iguodala.